of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. When was the last time you heard the New Mexico flag? Ever?
That's a new one for us.
Well, all of us New Mexicans, when I got on the board, I had to remember what I was. So, all right, Amanda, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Gracious God, we thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed upon us. We thank you for the changing of the seasons and the weather that you brought in with it. We thank you for the moisture. Lord, we just ask that you be upon our hearts and upon our minds as we make the decisions for this school, as we work through the business, and as we work together. We pray that you guide each and every one of our steps. And this we ask in the name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right. First presentation, security system corrective actions upgrades. Quote provided for Hunter Waters and Oculans. So you'll have to screen share.
With that, straightforward and deck ledger HDMI, pull it all out of there. It's pretty long, so whatever table you want.
Awesome. Well, good afternoon. I appreciate you all having me here. My name is Hunter Waters with Oculans.
Can you tap okay on the screen for me? Sorry. Thank you. Like lots of minutes.
Yeah, my name is Hunter Waters with Oculans. I'm the head of engineering at Oculans. We're a premier partner with Verkada. So our main focus and the reason I got brought into this was Curtis had reached out to Verkada about some issues that we were having with the access control doors and a few of the cameras. I've been working directly with Verkada. I was employee of Verkada for a little over 2 years. I left over to Oculans, a reseller, to come in and solve those problems. So we came out with Garcom, who's with me today as well, Tom, to look at the doors and the cameras and evaluate the system that's been installed currently. As we walk through the site, I gained access to the cameras to look at blind spots, things of that nature, and really did a full evaluation of what was installed, how it was installed, and what things need to be addressed and fixed. The main focus was the access control doors that we have tied to intercoms right now, and they're consistently having problems for a variety of reasons. The first one is because of the cabling that they used and the way they wired it back into the IP closets using an AX11. My suggestion is that we pull that off and move to the new Verkada TD52s, our intercom units that have a camera, a two-way communication, and allow for your front staff to utilize an iPad, their cell phone, or computer to unlock these doors when people need to enter the building, and if they don't have key cards. We're also removing that additional wiring that's running back to the AX11s, causing the issues with the doors, sometimes working, sometimes not working. Like today, when we were looking at the doors, your back rear one is half unlocking and half locking. And I've noticed the staff has unlocked the doors because there's issues with them in total, right? So there's really no use in having access control if it's not being utilized by the staff. And so those issues really, open up the school to vulnerabilities that we have. So that was the first agenda item, to replace those units and bring it all in-house under one manufacturer and install it properly. As I mentioned here, Oculans is the #1 ranked globally on the NPS score, which means that essentially every time we have a customer that purchases through us goes to Verkada and says they love the service, they're okay with the service, or they hated the service. The average score is about 45, and we have a 97 because we're Verkada specific. So the only security platform that I work on, design, and implement is Verkada only. I don't touch any of the other systems. It's because we want to truly know it and make sure it's operational for the schools and not just being willing to install whatever the customer wants, essentially. We don't do any hidden cost. There's no change orders on my side. Everything that I see and present to you is what you guys will pay for the solution that I've prescribed. and what we'll accomplish on this build. And then again, we're the product specialist. And I was brought in by Verkada specifically because of some of the issues you had with the other VARs like APIC and Camnet in the past, was to really bring me in and fix that across the board. The next big issue that I saw was some of the camera placements and being able to really have a full exterior view around the school. And so there's a couple of new placements that we're going to do, and then also the new alarm system. So these two cameras are at the front of the school. These are going to be placed on poles. And they're two very different models for specific reasons. This is a CH52, which is the multi-sensor that you have currently in multiple places, so that we can watch down the streets and all activity that would lead into the school. And then the second camera is what's called a pan tilt zoom camera. So this is a 4K that has 32x zoom and full 360, 180 movement. And I'll show you how that actually works. So this camera, into my office in Tempe, Arizona, uses the other cameras around the campus to trigger it, and then that tells it to identify the individual at specific times and follow them. I have a variety of them placed in my current deployment at my office, and I'll show you how that works. So for example, here, this camera will be essentially monitoring different zones, move over when another camera detects motion, zoom in, identify. So we have the details of anyone coming on campus after hours, things of that nature, follow them, and then pull back out to monitoring various zones. The reason that we placed it on this corner is so that we have another CH52 already right here. So we have a decent view of the area, but this one will give us details all the way down all 4 streets. If there's any issues, this one will give us a full detail of what's happening, and we can address those issues. Next, we're going to look more towards the middle of the campus and address some of the blind spots. Currently, right now, down this hallway, there's no camera vision in the Curtis, and there's been some issues there. So this one is a headed camera. It can address both those hallways and give us full coverage there. Another area that we're missing is this parking lot, as well as this back section. So another CH52 would get placed there and be able to encompass that entire area so that we don't have blind spots and where people come out. Then there's also back in this corner, there's a couple of cameras around here, but we're missing a lot of vision down these streets and where people could enter in the premises. So another pole would be installed, and we'd use another CH52 to monitor this whole area. We're also missing main section here. We have cameras on both sides, but there's things blocking vision in between there. So there's a big blind spot in the center behind this building. So we're going to install a dome camera over here so we can capture that area so you don't have blind spots in the main section of the school. And then lastly, a bullet camera placed over here to watch this walkway that's missing, as well as both sides of this building. Curtis had mentioned to me that this might get renovated and we might have a new building here. So this would still provide that same coverage regardless of what happened on this. Now, the big purpose on why I'm really concerned with making sure we're watching all the perimeter line items is the new Verkada advanced alarms. So what we're able to do now is draw a geofence around the entire school and arm it after hours. So if anyone comes on campus, whether you have a gate or a fence or not, we can still trigger an alarm system with the new software. So we can draw line crossing in different areas and set alerts where if someone's loitering on the school campus when the alarm system's active, or they cross a fence, they get on the roof, anything of that nature, this will dispatch, and we can text school staff, and if no one responds, we can actually dispatch police directly to that. So this really eliminates the needs for physical barriers around the school, because we're going to have a much faster response time. And with physical barriers, you can still cross those lines by jumping them, where this is giving us a proactive approach to dispatch and make sure that if someone's on campus, we have vision of them and we watch all the perimeter boundaries of that building. And so that's really the main purpose, was filling in all the blind spots, addressing how we have an open campus, being able to prevent that and not necessarily needing to use fencing. And then fixing the issues with the current cameras, and I'll show you, like this one, for example, was installed a couple years ago. It's right out front, one of your main cameras.
Lasted a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
We've been waiting a year and a half on this stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they didn't seal this camera, so there's water in this brand new camera. And I'll show you, this is what those lenses look like on the main part of your campus, right in front of it. Right, and so all of those issues would be addressed between me and Tom coming in here. My expertise is going to be on designing the system, make sure it's working properly. All the features that you paid for are being utilized, which they're currently not. We don't have floor plans uploaded, anything of that nature. I would handle all that. And then Tom's team would come and do the install, fix any issues, especially with the access control cameras, as well as here's an interior camera of yours as well, that for some reason it's smudged or has tape over it or something. Things of that nature we'll be able to address. Make sure there's tamper alerts on all the cameras. So if this was a student, for example,
Looks like a rock building.
did that
It's in
happen?
the cafeteria, and we are not
Where
sure.
were you a year and a half ago?
Picked the wrong bar.
We did something wrong.
Now,
Sorry, what?
the time frame now.
Timeframe? So on my side, once the order is placed, the equipment is shipped in 2 days. I'll jump into the back of the system immediately and start building the geofencing, as well as all the alerts, the tampers, all the back end stuff. And then, can you talk about timeline for install?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we get the go ahead, right, there's a couple of tweaks that we still need to basically look at. We're probably looking like 3-4 weeks and we can get out. Basically, it's gonna get some snow. I'd rather do it maybe the end of October, beginning of November to get it done. Right, it's the school. We want you all to be safe. Same thing too, just not, I wasn't gonna jump in before too. Say when you do the fencing, physical fencing for barricades around, you're gonna have a disruption when you have to put all that in. So you're gonna end up, parking lot's gonna shift and when you're gonna be putting the fencing in. And then speaking with Hunter and basically Curtis on it too, if you're gonna be taking down buildings. But the perimeter fencing on the cameras, we're just taking the cameras down, new cabling, and putting them up in a new location, not removing the fence or sections of fencing, so it makes it quite easy for them. So that's what we're seeing some of the stuff too. I mean, I just did a freebie for Curtis about a week or so ago. One of the door mullions was knocked over, so I just came up and repaired the door strike. That was me noticing the other things, that we got to do some internal cabling and fix it for you all to make sure it's good. And that's what we see.
If we go with a virtual fence instead of a actual physical fence, do you have clients we can contact?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a variety of clients that use the virtual fencing that I can get you guys in contact with.
I just think it would be a good idea.
It's a very common thing right now, especially because for some reason it's really hard to get fencing contractors to come out and do it. And on top of it, it still doesn't prevent the entire problem. Because with this, we're actually able to trigger those alerts.
I'm so sorry because I was late. So can you explain to me the difference between a virtual fence versus an actual fence?
Yeah.
And sorry.
No problem. So with the Ricotta updates that have come out, they allow us to draw specific areas, kind of like this, that we're going to arm the school once it's after hours, things of that nature. And so if someone comes into this area during that time, we have a variety of settings. So if they enter at all, if they loiter in it for more than 10 seconds, more than 30 seconds, whatever parameter we want to set, it'll reach out to school security. And then if there's no contact made and we still want to move forward, then we can dispatch police directly and send them live feeds of what's happened. So they have a real-time view of what's going on within the school.
You do realize that we're an hour out from a
Police officer.
officer.
Yeah, you're looking at school security.
Yeah, you're looking at
You have an SRD 2 days a week.
that. What?
You have an
So
SRD.
we got a lady here 2 days a week.
Here's the thing, if there's lines.
I did read that.
In the area.
I'm tired.
It's just emotions, they're motion
They're
sensors.
just emotions.
Essentially, I mean, right.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah, so power outage, it depends on how we have the network set up. So if there's backup power supplies at the switches, then everything will still operate as normal. Dominic, you've been in network updates, do they have UPS right now?
I'd probably go back, I might go back through with Curtis to do that with the comm side of it, to see what you actually have for backup with your IT group. Because you might want to maybe increase the UPS to make sure you do have solid UPS captured some of the time. Because same thing Curtis said, there has actually been some glitches. So we're looking at, some of the UPS backups, so you've got basically a filter, right? So it's not like dirty electric coming and shocking your system, so you've got like a filter that comes and things up. So we'll look into that as well. A lot of my experience is a lot of the military side with different networks on the military side. The perimeter fencing, the military does a lot of perimeter fencing too. Basically, that's set up so you can do, you can go through it, you're, let the expert do it, but the facial recognition, you can look for something. You've got somebody that's been on this school that's not supposed to be here. You can have that picture, that facial recognition stuck in, so that'll catch that person when they're coming in. So you know right where they're at. Instead of somebody coming over the fence that's not supposed to be.
How many, and you could have already shared this, how many schools are using this
Yeah.
technology?
Quite a few. So I'm based in Arizona, but I work in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada. I have personally over 50 schools that use this alarm system that I can connect you guys with. I have them in rural areas and in cities as well. So I can connect you with them,
So
but
that's
quite a
who
few.
we'd like to talk to is the rural school,
Yeah, definitely.
because they probably have the same situation we do. We don't, anybody.
those stray cats aren't gonna set it off.
We could be out of electricity for hours, if not days. And then what?
What do you guys currently have for like a backup for the school? Do you have like a
Gen rack.
generator or anything?
No.
No.
No, we need to get
We
one.
need to get one though. No.
Just as future, I would suggest
Yeah.
something like that you could ask, install and put in. Because usually even.
Then that would take care of everything, wouldn't it, if we had a backup generator?
The whole complex would be all of that.
Well, yeah.
Yes. And really with the police dispatch too, this is alerting you that someone's there on campus and then giving you footage and evidence of that happening. Because regardless if we have a fence, we don't have a fence, someone crosses that border,
Her name is.
we need to identify it and then
She
be
works
able
for
to
here.
make changes based on that, maybe
Third.
prosecute against that person. Or let them know, hey, we can't be on campus after 7 p.m.
Me.
or something of that nature.
That does things.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've been it's been a year and a half. Well, it'll be 2 years in October when Travis started to leave. We started talking about this, and he's the one that put us on with them, and then we started it after the first of the year after he was gone. And it's been non-existent.
Yeah, it's hard because the system's great and it works really well, but it has to be implemented properly.
And it sounds like it wasn't. Yeah. Yes, questions. Yes, from the floor. Yes.
So, what is, so you get somebody that's a persistent trespasser. What's the legal, what's the legal requirement in New Mexico to trespass them?
There you go.
I can't give legal advice, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to.
Have you had an incident where you used it?
Yeah,
And
so,
with the geofencing, is there? Because it's an unmarked line, basically.
yeah, so, the way I've done it in the past, so I work with Gadsden School District, Sunland Park, those schools as well, and they use the geofencing. I don't have an exact instance of trespassing that I think I could share at this time, but what I've seen in the past with other schools is if you had someone on campus and it's visibly past that line, then they use the software, I think right. Let me show you this one. We have the ability to create them as what's called a person of interest. So person of interest, essentially anytime that person, and you can see a couple here for demo purposes in my office space in Tempe. Anytime this person comes on campus, it's going to notify me the total amount of times, what days they've been on campus, and what cameras they've been seen on campus. And so you can start to create essentially what's called an archive of that individual person and have specific tags associated with them. So you have a full case built. Person X has been on campus 23 times over these days. This amount of times was after hours. This was during hours. This is where they were on campus.
So you have a log for applying for
So
a restraint.
training order, whatever.
Now, second question. What is the time period week for a staff member to maintain the system, or is it totally maintained by you?
So there's two sides of that. There's a storage on the cameras. So every camera has individual storage on them. So even if, let's say, one camera went out or we had disconnected internet for a week, all that image and all the video is going to stay on that individual camera once it gets reconnected. That'll be there for 30 days. So if an incident happens, you have 30 days to archive it. And then once you archive it, it's on the system indefinitely. Now, in terms of maintaining the back end of the system, like the geofencing, users, things of that nature, I will handle that on my side in conjunction with your IT team and your admin staff. So I'll be the one designing it, making sure as updates come out, we adjust those throughout your tenure with the licenses on Mercado.
Is there a monthly fee or an annual fee?
So the way Mercado is priced and what you guys purchased last time was 10-year licenses.
Yeah.
So the cameras themselves and all the hardware has a 10-year license associated with the device and a 10-year warranty with it. So I'll maintain the back end of the system for the 10-year of the license associated with it. And if, let's say in 10 years, you want to upgrade the system because there's a bunch of new technology, or you want to just increase the license capacity, then I'll continue to monitor that, or Oculus as a whole.
So will they replace the cameras that are messed up?
Yep, so that's going to be promising.
I know you're gonna have to add a few, but those
Yeah.
are, but the ones that he showed us that are, well, I'm sure you took the pictures, are the ones that have that aren't any good.
For example, I came up today and I took it with me on what's next to really in cameras. That one's done, and that's why they go search the extension ladder before, so as soon as I look down here, I'm gonna go out and clean that one lens off, so at least get that one out.
Okay.
So and that's why it's important to have a local partner like Tom here that can come out and do the physical boots on the ground and maintain
Yeah,
things of that nature. Someone takes that to one of the cameras or shoots with a paintball gun, something of that nature.
because that's one of the problems we've had, just getting the system put in, can't get anybody here to do it.
Exactly. Garcom's been in business 30 years. They have an excellent
Where were you a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
I was actually on the east coast. Fast, so trust me, I love to drive up. Like, got the station to go to some horse on the ranch here, so I might be here a little.
So I have a question in terms of an event, we're compromised as far as security goes. Who's watching those?
Yeah, great question. So a couple different types of incidents that we can have. On someone jumping the fence or crossing barriers, there's a live agent that verifies that that's a human on top of the software. So the software will identify motion and then clarify, okay, is this a cat? Is this a dog? Is this a human?
Dear.
If it determines human, yep, exactly. Then we have a live agent that monitors it and sees, okay, is this person leaving? Are they going further into campus? What's going on? And during that time is when they reach out. So they'll send text messages with a link to the video footage of that happening and place a phone call.
And when you say the system.
The live agents.
Okay, so the live agents are watching this 24/7.
Only when that is triggered. So they're not watching your system.
Okay,
Just
only
a
when
line.
there's
Yeah.
when there's a notification to one of the live agents.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And so once that happens, they verify it, they reach out to you and they say, hey, I sent you this image. Do you want me to dispatch? Do you want me to save the archive? How do you want me to see it? And you'll be able to, on your cell phone without the app downloaded, view the footage in real time. Say, yes, dispatch, and then I'm also going to call X person, maybe have someone close to campus, get them off, something of that nature. But it gives you the ability to see what's going on in real time and then address those problems.
Those folks are 24/7.
24/7, 365.
So,
Verkada support.
just one more question. So a couple of years ago, we had a bottom line coming through. Is that something you guys are gonna find a school about if they notify the live agent? I mean,
Yeah.
Because
it is a threat.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be unheard of a bear either, too, so.
So that's the really cool part about Verkada. So this is the new AI search. And this can trigger those type of alerts. So I can type in something like man with beard, for example, and it'll search through all of my cameras that I have at my various locations and pull up those images, right? So I could search for wildlife and then add that as a trigger into the alarm system. So you can have AI powered alerts to send notifications to staff members that, hey, there's wildlife on campus right now. And then we'll send you that video feed and you can see what type of wildlife it is. And that all comes with the alarm package that we put in the call for you.
I don't know if we have it for Bigfoot yet.
But I bet that would be a shock for your person that's monitoring that. The alarm goes off and looks at it. And,
It's just got a ghillie suit for.
yeah, I know. So,
Archives are in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
Archives are in the cloud.
So that's why you have unlimited storage and it never gets deleted. You can save clips up to 24 hours and there's no limit on the amount of clips. Any other questions?
anything else?
But yeah, doing what we proposed today is this full coverage of the entire school, adds in the additional features, and then also fixes the access control issues that we've been having.
Go ahead.
So, said about when, it's after hours,
Mhm.
people entering the campus, what about during school hours, just random people?
So we can have different types of alarms based on schedules. So during school hours, obviously, you probably have students coming in and out, so that would trigger quite a few alarms. What we can do
Go ahead.
is we can trigger those alarms internally first, so you get a text or a push notification, verify it first. And so that's like a mini alarm, and then after hours, it goes full alarm into the live agents that have the authority to dispatch police if we don't get in contact with them.
All that capability's been here. It just takes somebody to program that, and we didn't have time to do that. And APIC didn't help us. So this,
Yeah.
to me, is huge, having somebody else do that, to utilize this. I mean, we purchased the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Might as well have somebody that knows how to drive it properly, but that's just my thoughts on this.
And like I mentioned, I was a Verkada employee for over 2 years, working directly with them. I worked with a variety of bars, and the reason I went to Oculens, they approached me was because of their NPS score and what they actually provide. A lot of these other resellers will sell Verkada, Vigilon, Genetech, and they don't really understand the system. Because this is Verkada only, I understand the system fully and my company does, and so we actually deploy all the features. Because it's only as good as what you set up.
Yeah. The only alarm I have right now set up is the back door to the gym, and Damien triggers it every Friday when he goes in to clean. So. That's
Well,
just-
at least you know, believe.
Right.
Anything else? Anybody?
Awesome. I appreciate all your time.
Well, we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Looking forward to working with you.
Absolutely.
Right.
We have a second presentation. Yeah, got to get them back up there.
Gotta get 'em back.
And to the presenters, I'm so sorry. I was like, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is the Collegiate EDU Nation, Edu Nation. Okay, I'll get it all right in a minute. Affiliate update from Dr. Kim Alexander, founder and CEO, and Dr. Rochelle McLean, president. And Rachel's not there. Okay, Kelly Springfield is filling in.
Hello, and
Can you hear
actually
it?
we've got Kelly Springfield with us instead of. Yep, and she's our PTech director, and she's very knowledgeable of PTech. And typically, we do a board presentation at the up front and answer a lot of questions. Curtis told me a few weeks back that y'all have some questions, and we're happy to answer anything that you want to know or need to know. I understand we've got about a 15-minute window, but I'll be happy to either tell you who we are and where we came from and what we do and why, or answer specific questions. So just whatever format y'all prefer, we've done them all.
Yeah.
We'll tell, yeah, just the Reader's Digest version of who you are.
Oh,
Where we're
okay.
going.
Okay. Well, I'm a farmer and a rancher from Roscoe, Texas. My family's been farming and ranching there since 1917. I was with the school system for 32 years, the last 17 as superintendent. And during that time, we developed a model for school-wide early college in 2009, and then STEM Academy in 2012. All that became PTech in 2017, Pathways in Technology Early College High School, a system to support students through a more meaningful outcome than just the high school diploma. The high school diploma is necessary, but it's no longer adequate. And so how to align with higher ed and workforce and increase post-secondary credential attainment. In 2019, the Commissioner of Education in Texas, Mike Morath, asked us to take what was known as the Roscoe model. We had hosted literally hundreds of schools over a 10-year period and asked us to form a 501c3 nonprofit to help small and rural schools align with higher ed and workforce. There's three shades of rural in Texas. There's rural and very rural and dang rural. And the more rural a school is, the more challenging it is to align with higher ed and workforce. And so that's kind of what we've been doing here in Texas. We have a very strong partnership with Texas A&M and AgriLife Extension, and we use that land grant infrastructure to align rural K-12 with higher ed and the extension component of higher ed that reaches out into rural sectors. One of our board members, Dr. Valerie Truesdale from South Carolina, is a former rural superintendent there, and she's head of the AASA rural cohort, the American Association of School Administrators, and she was telling us that everywhere there's rural, things may change as far as culture and dialect, but the rural dilemma is pretty much the same all across the country. And so with that being said, 5 years ago, we had been approached by one of our board members, Eric Reeves. He's good friends with Carl Toma with the Toma Foundation in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And up until 5 years ago, their interest had been in the arts. And then about 5 years ago, they became interested in rural education. And their focus is on New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. And he told them about what we were doing in Texas. And so we had about a 5-minute conversation, and just a little bit later, they gave us $1 million to expand what we're doing in Texas. And since that time, currently we're in about 35 school districts serving about 35,000 students across the state, really helping them to earn post-secondary credentials. In Texas, we can't fill half the STEM jobs because of an uneducated workforce. And Commit Partnership did a study back in 2019, and we have record high school graduation rates, but only 22% of our students earn any kind of post-secondary credential by age 24. In rural sectors, it's 13%. And the estimated loss in lifetime earnings is $208 billion per cohort. So that being said, and the connection with Carl is how we ended up out in New Mexico, and we hosted our first national convening last September over here in Abilene, Texas, and we had 6 states represented, and one of those was New Mexico and Curtis and Corona, and then some other school districts, and that's what led to the conversations that we've had that has led to some workforce funding, and now we're in the process of because New Mexico is so rural, we're in the process of setting up can't think of the name right now, but go ahead, Kelly.
The hubs.
Hubs, regional hubs that would serve initially 25 schools, and currently Corona is one of those hubs, and we have received significant funding to really expand post-secondary credential attainment for rural students in New Mexico. And our belief is a more highly educated rural population will lead to the innovation that leads to rural job creation. We're trying to reverse that out migration that began back in the 1950s, where our best and brightest leave for urban and suburban opportunity and they don't come back. And so that's kind of a 30,000-foot view of what we're doing in Texas, and then now what we're trying to use Texas as a model, lessons learned. We've learned. I'm a lot more of an expert on what not to do again than what to do. I tell people all the time, there's easier ways to do STEM than build a veterinary hospital. But we've got one in Roscoe, and it's a 3-division with a small animal, large animal, and equine, and then we've got the embryology and repro. And so just really finding out what are the opportunities in these rural schools for these rural students. And so with that, that's kind of a 30,000-foot view, and be happy to answer questions or dig a little deeper into that. And like I say, I apologize. Usually we at the up front, we do a presentation for the board, and it always comes in there. We always come in there, and the attitude is, how can we afford to do this? And then by the time we get it through explaining what it is we do, it becomes, how can we afford not to do this for our students?
And Kelly is she is the one that came in and did professional development with our staff over the summer. She's our right-hand person that's helping us do a lot of this. She's done all of our grant writing and things like that, that's brought money in. And she has a great baby in Carlsbad, so she's invested in New Mexico, which is great. But she comes from Marathon, Texas.
Yeah, Marathon.
So
We're 450 strong.
And Kelly, we're blessed to have Kelly. She's, as I may have mentioned at the outset, I believe she's the most knowledgeable P-TECH person in Texas and probably in the country. So New Mexico is lucky to have someone with that skill set working with you.
She's gone in, Kelly's actually gone in with Andy Reid, so to work on aligning some of our pathways and some of the things that they offer, so that what these kids are taking dual credit wise is leading into those associates or certificates or whatever it is. And she's done a lot of that legwork to align what our standards and pathways that we're teaching within the school is going right into that piece of it.
In Texas, we've got a funding model, and we've learned that policy and funding is different in every state. But we've got a a model in Texas for the schools to draw funding years 13, 14 on students to support rural students an additional 2 years. And that has proven very beneficial. We did an initial partnership with West Texas A&M. We had 7 very disadvantaged students, but they had earned their associate degree for graduated high school there in Roscoe. And of those 7, 2 graduated early, the other 5 on time, average age 20, student debt 0, and they had a higher GPA than the average West Texas A&M student. And that taught us a lot about providing high school level support for at-risk college students that have been historically underrepresented in higher ed.
And I will add a statistic to that is in last school year, the number of students who had completed their P-TECH program, graduated with their P-TECH designation, 50% of those actually went on to higher ed. And that number was a lot lower before, just because it provides that opportunity and that support to finish a certificate if they didn't finish it, finish an associate's degree, work on their bachelor's degree. Some even have started working on their master's degrees. And so, and I
Yeah.
will say one of the things we're doing with Corona is I've been meeting with ENMU. I'll actually be in Corona, not next week, but the week after, to work with your teachers and to work with Amanda and Randa to kind of start building those pathways out. We'd like to roll them out in January. And so when we build those out, we're going to build out that high school diploma, the pathway that they're taking. We're going to build out that CTE 4-course completer piece. We'll have certificates built in, build it all the way to the associate's degree, and include IBCs. And so each student will have the opportunity to work to that associate's degree. If they don't want to go to that associate's degree, or there's something that's holding them back, we do have jumping off points. So they'll earn an IBC, they'll earn a certificate. We just want them to have something in hand when they graduate from high school to be able to go and get a job. And we're also going to be working on those internship, job shadowing, work-based learning opportunities so that they're getting some hands-on experience, especially starting at the lower level. So they actually, decide that's, if they choose a path, is that really what they want to do? And so we've had some windmill kids going into windmill tech who are afraid of heights. Well, we need to learn that early on.
And I'll just say this about high expectations for all students. In 2009, when we started this, and the folks at Texas A&M, we'd done a research project in Roscoe, and Dr. Chen said, there's a 1 percentage point difference in 89% to 90, but perception-wise, it's a mile. So let's set a high expectation for students. So we set 90% for students to earn the associate degree for graduate high school. Nobody thought we could do that. The first year we had 1, we had 38%, then we had 52%, and 58%, then 73%, and then 89%. And in 2015, we hit 90%. We hit 92, 94, and 96 before the pandemic. And that taught us a lot about the higher the expectation we can structure, the greater the student aspiration and the greater the outcome. And more valuable than having an associate degree is the grit and the perseverance that students develop. And that's why students that earn the associate degree before they graduate high school are 10 times more likely to complete 4-year degrees. And I would maintain, the definition of college has changed significantly in the last 10 years because of STEM and everything. But even if a student chooses to be an electrician or a plumber or HVAC or solar or whatever, just that confidence that they can do it, that work ethic sets them up to be successful in whatever they do. So we try to structure it where it's the highest student outcomes in the nation.
I think we have a question if you guys are ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, Alina Brandenberger. Thank you all for your time this evening. My question is, all of my girls graduated from West Texas A&M thus far. We're hoping our third one goes as well. Question is, when they get their associates, do most colleges accept those credits?
In Texas, it's mandatory. I need to look at the associate's level, but in Texas, if you graduate, if you get a degree from a Texas college, they have to accept all of those credits. And I don't see them being that different, just by working with Eastern New Mexico. My daughter was an academic advisor for the community college in Carlsbad, and those course descriptions pretty much line up with what's going on in Texas as well. So I don't see why those credits wouldn't transfer. But one thing that we we'll do is when we kind of we'll come in with Amanda and Randa and talk to your students and decide which path do they want to go on. And we can, if they're wanting to go to a 4-year, we like to line that up to that 4-year and make sure that they're taking the right classes, because you can affect financial aid and a lot of things if they're taking courses that they don't need. So we really try to make sure that that's a streamlined process.
And I'll use this example. It's a lot more collaborative and friendly than it was 10 or 15 years ago. But in 2012, there at Roscoe, our valedictorian, Caden Smith, earned his associate degree before he graduated high school. Well, he went to Texas A&M on a football scholarship. And everybody was wondering, well, what will they do? And even back then, and even there, they took 52 of his 60 hours. And whereas in Division I football, it usually takes 5 years to finish because it's like a full-time job. And by the time he ran out of eligibility in December of his 5th year, he had a master's degree in marketing from Texas A&M. And the landscape is a whole lot more friendly and conducive to doing things like that 2025.
And I will say, I know y'all have probably heard, because we've been, working with your teachers on some project-based learning pieces. And one of the reasons we really like to push the project-based learning is because those are those soft skills that kids are not getting. And, it's collaboration, teamwork, working together, having your assignment and, doing your part to contribute to the whole, learning how to speak in public, things like that. And so that's one of the big pieces that we're trying to push alongside all of the degrees and the certificates, is also to build those soft skills, which, we can also help through those internships and job shadowing events. And we applied for a STEM in New Mexico grant, and Corona did get it. And so we'll actually be doing 3 projects, one at the elementary, one at the middle school, and one at the high school, in conjunction with New Mexico Tech. And so it's going to build their math skills, but they're also your high school kids will end up with their drone licenses. There'll be drone usage in the middle school. The elementary kids will be doing some robotics, some Lego robotics. The middle school kids will be doing some coding, and everything is related to ag. And so we were just kind of making sure it's aligned to, your industry needs in your area. And so that's kind of the direction we're jumping off first with y'all.
That's cool. That's very good. Yeah. That's awesome.
And Dr. Alexander, Kelly, could you kind of explain to the board about what visits entail and like how we collaborate in PD?
You're breaking up a little bit because
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, do you guys mind covering what we do during site visits and how we collaborate like through PD?
Yeah, we came in and did some PD with y'all. We went out to the research ranch with New Mexico State, and they showed us some drones and how they use drones. The teachers kind of got an idea of kind of the way technology is going through the ag and pieces like that. And then we took what we learned at that PD at the ranch, and then we brought it into the school, and the teachers started working on their own projects that they were going to present with the kids for this first semester. We don't want to overwhelm anybody. So we're going to just take it piece by piece. But we allowed the teachers to kind of use their passions and their desires for this first round, just so it's something, it's easier to get a little bit of buy-in if the teachers are doing something that they're passionate about. And so each of the teachers kind of came up with some ideas on what they're wanting to do. We kind of worked through with them through that project-based learning process. I've emailed back and forth with some teachers with some ideas. Last time I was there, I wasn't there for PBL, but I actually had a couple of teachers come in and they saw me there. They came in and we talked PBL anyway. And I'll be doing that when we're there next week. And Avid reached out, so we're going to be collaborating with Avid. We collaborate with Avid pretty intensely in Texas, and so we'll be doing that alongside the teachers in Corona as well. But like we're really wanting the PBLs, and I know, like, for example, your third grade teacher has kind of taken it and run with it, and she's built, they're doing some plant science pieces, bringing in that ag, and they're growing some plants, Christmas cactuses that they're going to be selling at the local Christmas bazaar. And so we're really trying to bring in community as much as we can. That's, I kind of think, the ultimate goal. And once we kind of get this off the ground a little bit, I think next semester we'd like to do a big community advisory meeting and bring in the community and see what the needs and the interests and what does Corona need? Which direction would they like the school to go to best support what's lacking in the community and where they would like to go next? And so, Dr. A always says, where goes the school goes the community in a rural town. You're kind of the center. And so we're wanting to use the school to build up the town and do a whole big economic development piece and grow from there.
And what about like when our teachers come to Roscoe? What do they see when they come to Roscoe?
You want to talk about that, Dr. A?
Yeah, every school's different, every community's different. And back in 2012, well, we want to bring real world relevance into the classroom. We want to have true public-private partnerships. We don't want to do STEM projects, project-based learning for a grade. We want it to be real. And so Roscoe is a very poor district. We were poor before that became stylish. And so we didn't have the facilities at the school. And so in Roscoe, we just kind of turned the town into the school. And we had out at our ag farm, we built a research center to house the mixed animal veterinary clinic, Collegiate EduVet, and it's a 3-division vet clinic that's open to the public. We have an embryology program. It's the one-stop embryo shop for West Texas. In an old welding shop downtown that used to be Niche Welding, we have Collegiate EduWell, where students can earn multiple certifications, and it's open to the public for business. We have EduMaker, where students can earn certifications in CNC and woodworking and make all the wood plaques for school events and things like that. It's an engineering program. We have at an old gift shop, we have our adult ed center, where our P-Tech students can go, and even adult learners that are having to retool can come in there. And so and then we don't have any longer, but our first business was Collegiate Chiropractic. It was one of our alumni that lived in Abilene come over and run a chiropractor clinic in a dressing room of the school that's open to the public. And so just being creative and figuring out what are the opportunities and looking at every community like the glass is half full and not empty and not half empty. So
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, when I asked him, well, it grants or adults
We couldn't hear that.
So she's asking how you spend that money
It's still breaking up.
on in those buildings and such.
I can't
So
understand the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
with the buildings, can you hear me now? Is that a little better?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll talk
Yeah.
directly to the speaker. With the building, how do you secure the funding and those kind of things to start those, like the vet clinic and welding shop and those kind of things? Where did that money come from?
Okay, for the vet clinic out at our ag farm, the voters actually passed a bond to build a facility. We were short on facilities because when we started adding all these programs, our enrollment went from under 300 to 650. So we were out of space. So passed a bond there. Eduel, that was our old transportation center. And we had outgrown that, so we had to build another transportation center. So we just moved Eduel there. Edudrone, I forgot to mention that one a while ago. It was an old apartment store in downtown Roscoe. That was the only clothes store I was ever in until I was in high school. But that's where we had Edudrone, where students could earn the FAA 107 drone pilot's license. And we had one of our alumni that's a very successful realtor out in California. Made us a very good deal on that building. The lady where we bought the antique shop, she had the gift shop right next door, and her sister was my longtime business manager and is our business manager at EduNation now. So they made us a good deal. We have an early childhood center that's an old grocery store that we just converted into an early childhood center. And so it's just looking at the situation and trying to find the partnerships that will work. And we found, and we're finding it in all these 30 communities, that if folks will just look at school differently, as it can be an economic hub and an economic driver for rural economic and community development. That's that extension component of the model that is so significant. It's not about education, but as the school goes, so goes the community.
I have, after going to Roscoe, I have had a conversation with like Cheryl Bradford, who has two buildings along Main Street, about like if the kids wanted a school store, could we take the old post office and pay them like a renter's fee or something like that and make that a Main Street storefront for the school? She was going to have to talk to the family and things like that because she's not the sole owner, but when we came out of Roscoe, my big picture was like, man, if we could purchase the old store and that could be the old early childhood, and we could community revitalization, economic grants, those kind of things. My wheels like went off the rails, I think, after coming back from Roscoe. But I think there's lots of opportunities like that here, especially down Main Street, where those buildings are just kind of crumbling and falling apart.
Yeah, a prime example, one of our schools in Southeast Texas, Belleville, they took an old abandoned building on the courthouse square and turned it into Belleville on the square. And they've got 4 or 5 student businesses that are open to the public right downtown. And the students get that real world business experience. And it's just looking at school different and moving school out of that K-12 silo and making it part of the community, which is what has got to happen, because in Texas, what we're doing is not working. 22% is not a passing score on anything. And so we're trying to move the 22% that have post-secondary credentials to 90%. And that's how you do it.
And I will say, if that is a direction that you're wanting to go with the revitalization in town and things like that, our grant writer is amazing. she's great at doing it. So those are things that we can start researching and looking at economic development grants and rural revitalization grants, Main Street programs, things like that, and try to build on that.
It sounds like it's a team effort. It's a little
Yeah.
bit of everybody
Yeah,
and everything.
yes, yeah. And I wanted to just like wave the wand and everything happen now. But that's
2009. When they
right,
started.
yeah. And that's kind of why we chose to focus on 3, 4, 5 with the project-based learning and that kind of space with the Avid and things like that first. And then we'll slowly work our way. And
So I just have a few questions. How far is, I have to pull it up, like Roscoe from from supplies, like supply chains and things of that
Yeah.
nature?
how far is Roscoe from supply chain?
Well, it's getting closer to us right now because of all these data centers. There's what they call the Big Empty over here in Texas that runs from Abilene to Wichita Falls to Lubbock to San Angelo. That
Snyder?
they named it right. It's the Big Empty. But now, those 10 data centers that President Trump authorized, they're going to be in that Big Empty. And there's a huge one right there in Abilene, Stargate. I think it's the largest one in the world. And so things are getting closer. And we've got some schools that were right in the middle of that. And then we've got some schools like Marathon's coming, where Kelly's from, is coming on board. And they're about as isolated as a lot of New Mexico.
We're about an hour from a Walmart, so we have a little tiny little, grocery store. That's about it. Well, we have a resort, but it doesn't have anything with it. It's just tourism.
So most of your graduates then go to WT?
A lot of them do, but we've also got that same agreement. We've got a P-TECH agreement with Angelo State. We've got a lot of students go to Tech. Some of them go to Texas A&M. And what we're trying to do in Texas is use the A&M system. I've got a presentation. I'm on my way to College Station right now. And we've got a presentation tomorrow about using the 12 system schools that, everything but the flagship is pretty rural, and using those regional universities to help target the rural students in their region and focus on that and creating a more highly educated rural population. I've got a good friend, Dr. Steve Fraze, that recently retired. He was the department head of Ag Ed there at New Mexico State. He was at Tech and then went there and retired. And so, we're having that same conversation with New Mexico State on how to use that land grant infrastructure to help support these rural schools.
And I will say with our 13-14 program, a lot of those kids stay home. We have agreements and try to pull online classes and things like that. So, those kids who can't afford to go off to another, to the big schools, they still have that opportunity at home to earn those those bachelor's and master's degrees.
Well, our 15 minutes turned into a lot longer, and we could talk to you guys forever. I mean, you guys are loads of information, and we do appreciate you coming on and being with us and showing our teachers a good time while they're down there at Roscoe. And I know they came back with lots of ideas, and then Kelly, I said it on the first part of Kelly's first presentation when she came up here, and we do appreciate you. I know we've really started looking hard at different ways to help these kids the best we can, because we know the situation that they're in going forward. So we do appreciate you guys, and
and I appreciate you guys. I mean, you guys. Well, I appreciate what you do and what you're wanting to do for your students, and we're interested in helping you make sure that the Corona students have the highest outcomes in the nation. They deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. With that, it's okay. Minutes from August.
Second.
September, what did it say? August?
And that's September.
Minutes for September's. Is this the special or is this the?
That's the regular.
Regular. Okay, for the regular meeting of September. Motion made. Seconded. All those opposed? Motion passes. Payroll.
I had some questions.
Okay. Shoot.
The CPS. Yep. Yeah, these are back from July. Apparently we've seen in July. So just, I'm sorry, say that again. Yeah, it's that. There's probably. It's been ongoing.
Either that or the teacher housing PSFO.
Right, but those, all those things
Or
are.
cooperative education, CES or CS.
Yes.
Oh, can you guys contact Labatt and tell him to not send me emails for food?
Oh, yeah.
Please. I get Labatt orders for food.
Who does the ordering?
Who does the ordering? Anya?
Anya.
Okay.
Will you ask
Can
her?
you-
Yes. Contact them or you guys contact them? I mean, I don't care, but it's like, I look at the,
You're like,
whatever, yeah. I mean, I just don't, I don't need them. I think it's,
Is it batteries?
and what is Dragonfly Athletic?
Plug it in every time.
Dragonfly is how we pay the officials, schedule and pay them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we
it's
don't pay
all
them
online.
directly?
We
Yeah.
can pay
Oh,
them
thank
directly.
That would be so nice. All right,
It's.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet it's better because.
Big deal, and the happy dance
That's around.
for you guys.
We do a PO for the whole year.
Right.
It's a little bit at a time
Mhm.
to take us through a season, and it literally, once it's approved that they showed up, and that's done by the administrator, then it just pays them. They just show up in their account.
That's so awesome.
It's nice. And then
All right.
reconciling report.
Those are my questions. Also allows us to adjust mileage like super
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Like sometimes they put their home instead of their zone and yeah, that causes havoc, but on Dragonfly, you can go in there and it fix it for you.
Alina.
The new system thing.
Oh.
I had to do.
Yeah, there are like. Where we put everything, like that's kind of like our home base for all of our forms, requests, purchase orders, all of that, even like discipline referrals if teachers have a request for anything. Parents can also get in and request specific things.
Anything else, Scott? Alina?
So I just had a few questions, like, this report right here.
Yeah.
Because I love that report, yeah, so thank you for doing. The question is, under function 2300, general administration.
Under fund 11.
Fund 11,000 and then function 2300.
Yes.
General administration. So I just want to make sure I understand the flow of this report. So in this particular section, there's a budget of 366,000. Year to date, that's what's been spent of almost 77,000. Okay. Encumbered is 246,000. Okay, with an available balance of 43,000. Okay, so can you just make sure I'm clear on those sales? I get the budget, I get the year to date, but explain to me the encumbrance, the 246, and the available balance of 43,000.
So the encumbrance is gonna be any payroll expenses and any purchase orders that are outstanding against that fund and function. So 2,300, the function 2,300 is your superintendent, which is also board, any board.
Principal, right? The principal comes out of there too.
Principal comes out of 2,400. Correct, and 2,500 is your business office. And 2,600 is your facilities, any of your facility stuff. So 2,300 is your superintendent's salary and benefits and any expenses related to and the executive operations.
The board, if we go to,
Correct,
if we go to the training,
all your trial, there's any good CES for strategic planning, all of that will come out of that function.
when you encumber it, you grab that money and hold it for the year.
So that's immediate, that is known and measurable.
Yeah.
That you know is gonna happen.
Correct.
Yes,
Based on-
exactly. You grab that for payroll for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And then that's how we determine the budget items. When we come back in the spring and start talking about budget, we look at what did we spend? What did we encumber? What was the difference? Did we go over? Did we stay under? To determine the budget.
Okay, so my next question is under Fund 23015. Function 1,000, just because we have a trip coming up. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand how this thing is flowing. Okay, so this is FFA. Okay, so budget shows nothing.
It's all cash.
And I know that's usually raised monies.
Yeah, it's just cash.
Right,
There's no
okay.
budget.
So let me tell you about the way those are 23,000 fund is the actual activity fund. Everything in 23 on rolls up to a master account called 23,000 activity fund. When I came on, at July 1, what I realized that the former business management services did is they rolled all the budget into that master account. So I have been going back and I have gone back to 2019-20 and I've started breaking them out. I've started working on volleyball specifically because they're in session right now. And FFA, because I know they're doing things, but FFA actually has a balance of $148,000. I'm almost there with all the activity accounts. But I need to verify, I need the sponsors to be verifying last year's income and expenditures, because there was a lot to volleyball that didn't belong there that I talked about. I mean, like, it just was charged to it. It was basketball, hotels. I mean, it was just kind of random. So we cleaned up volleyball. And that's, so what you're seeing here is only those activity funds that have a specified number that have had an expenditure this fiscal year.
So far.
So far this year. That's how I broke it out, because I'm still working to figure out of that 355,000, what belongs to it. We have 45 activity accounts.
Okay, so the negative, the brackets I see around, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not trying to pick on that particular, I'm just trying to understand. And since we have a trip coming up, just making sure that we get midway and we have to get shit.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. 14, almost 500, that's not where, okay,
No,
okay.
this is just showing their expenditures strictly.
And a lot of what is encumbered is POs for that trip.
Okay, that's, okay,
And
that
it
was
really
gonna be
not a
my,
budget, that's cash, strictly cash.
okay. Because
They have
that's
to be
raised
paid
internally, because the budget, school funding will cover that type of activity. We have to raise all of that ourselves.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I really do like this report.
And I hope,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have it in November, but I hope by December, I'll be able to show you exactly where every fund stands and I'll have the budgets moved where they belong.
Okay.
For people to be able to track it. right now, again, PED doesn't, when I upload our reports to the
Roll it
Public
out.
Education Department, they don't see any of these, these 23,002, 23,013. It all rolls to 23,000 to them. They don't care about anything below. It just all rolls up.
As long as it's not negative, they're
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay.
And I know that your plate runneth over, and you're, trying to get all this stuff cleaned up, but have you had a chance? I noticed the checks still have, a prior board member on them.
We have the signatory.
Oh.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Okay. Okay, all right.
And I do want to point out, I think I put some notes in the financial report.
Yes, you did.
Other disbursements are from 2 fiscal years ago. I was able to clean up 3 of them that were from last fiscal year. But basically, those are payroll voucher or accounts payable vouchers. Some of those were accounts payable vouchers. One was to cooperative, it was the electric bill, Central Electric. Then the $33,000 one is a NIMSIA bill that got paid in the new fiscal year, but never cleared in the old. They never cleared it out and suspended it in the old fiscal year. But it's 2 fiscal years back. So I can't actually do anything. I could not clear it out and try. So
Tyler's gonna help me. Yeah.
So on the payroll one, and figuring that out, what was the offset? Did we still have some issues with what folks were paid?
no,
Okay,
no, not at all.
that was all cleaned out.
No,
Okay,
but I am concerned our books might be off. Our audited books. I'm surprised that went through the audit.
I do too.
To be very honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know how that cleared the audit. It's $33,000. The other ones are a little smaller, but when you look at the other disbursements that are outstanding that have never cleared the bank, those are concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, $33,000.
And when's Pam coming?
material.
When is Pam coming?
She has not scheduled with us yet. We
Okay.
asked her, she got the contract 2 weeks ago and she said she'd be back in touch. Curtis sent another email Friday or Monday. And I
Still haven't heard
not
back. Okay.
from her.
All right.
But yeah, I think those will impact the books ultimately.
Yeah.
And the adjustment will have to come this year.
Thank you for all your work and.
Yes.
and
Thank you.
anything else? I need a motion.
Second. Oh, that-
Motion made, seconded to approve payroll of bills. All those in favor?
Fine.
All those opposed? You guys, if you don't want to hang, you can, you're good to go. You guys got a long trip back. I looked up, you're still here, so.
I know.
So, we appreciate your time and. Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Be careful.
Oh.
Had to figure out the door, how to jiggle.
Yeah, it was actually still a little bit open under too, that I put your thing on.
Perfect.
Budget adjustments.
One, you'll notice from the summary reports, that we did have some negative functions and this bar is to transfer within operations from functions, 1,000 where we were over budgeted and to other function line items, 2,100 and 2,500 to cover those negatives.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the budget adjustment request. All those in favor?
Okay.
All those opposed? All right. Principal's report. Well, that'd be you.
Do you guys have any questions? I did have a couple of updates, like for our ENMUR. The new 8 weeks is going to start on Monday, the 13th. And so Sydney Mowry is going to come in on Monday and sit down with the kids, check out classes that if they want to enroll again in the second 8 weeks.
I'm sorry,
and
what did you
just
say? That was Monday, the
13th.
13th.
Yes.
Oh, next Monday. Next
Mhm.
Monday. Okay, got it.
Okay. And that way she can sit down with the kids, ensure they're enrolled in the courses, make sure the authenticator is turned off and that they have access to it on their dashboard. That 2-step authenticator seemed to be a big hang up. for our students this year. Right.
How's the phone deal going?
Really good. I haven't had really any issues. Some of the juniors tried to push limits, but whenever they get redirected, then it's fine.
Have we seen a,
I
I know we asked this,
You know, one of them.
have we seen a difference?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a
Oh,
little
yeah.
social, sometimes a little too social.
You gotta find somebody to talk to. Okay, just was wondering. I figured it would be a good thing, so.
Okay.
All right, Director.
You again have it kind of in front of you. If there's any questions, I don't really have any updates.
Who's going,
Yeah.
who's going to Roscoe?
We're looking at the high school team, potentially Roxanne, Michaela,
Monica and Nancy.
Good. Middle school, you guys, I asked you this, just you guys, but just for everybody, middle school is going okay since we lost a teacher and they said that they got one of the wind farm ladies again to fill in. So to take.
Good.
So. All right, superintendent's report, we got that. I think he copied and pasted, but okay. There was some added stuff on there, so.
So I have a question.
Oh,
Sorry. So back on the principal report, um, this just reminded me of another area on the fire safety. Have we done, recently another active shooter training?
It'll be in
February.
okay. We had one. They came in and did like the videos and like the preliminary piece, and then we'll have another one.
In February.
And you said we have somebody come twice a week.
yes, we have
An
a,
SRO.
yeah, we have a lady deputy here twice a week.
We have our office set up over there, so she's.
Does she come the same 2 days?
No, she does not.
Good.
Is it random?
Good.
Awesome.
I was hoping, I figured that, I was gonna say, don't have her come on Tuesdays and Thursday every day, so, okay.
She's very.
Well, she's really
cool, though. She's come into the shop with the Ag Mac boys and brought some horseshoe art that her and her husband created.
Well, and
She's walking around.
I asked saw Janice yesterday and she eats with she's eating with some of the elementary kids. She's eating with the 5th and 6th graders, mostly with the high
Great.
school, but she's,
very personable.
Yeah.
Really get to know the kids.
Officer Gordon.
Yeah.
Kelly Gordon. Kelly.
she is really nice.
And where does she live? Condo. Dang.
So are we splitting with does she hit the various, schools?
Us and-
Us, condo, okay.
Very good.
And then Carrizozo has one that goes, I think Captain Carrizozo has, so Lincoln County Sheriff's Office is definitely making sure the schools are taken.
Excellent. Good. Okay.
Good.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay.
Public comment. I guess that's why the rest of them are here. Who wants to start?
Yeah.
Who wants to go home first?
Yeah, Haley's got kiddos out in the hall.
Yeah.
Thank you for this time. Just through the last couple of weeks, just conversations and with middle school teacher leaving. You know, I've got a kid in 7th grade, so there's just some concerns and I know you just through some conversations here. The last couple of days was like, they've been finishing some projects and then maybe some possible admin. But you know, and that's a computer program. They get bored. They're tired of it. So I know just like word of mouth, it's rural or small, we know everything. Like if there's an option to hire some people, please do so. Like, I know, just like I said, and I'm sorry, it's hard because I've seen the little ones, I've seen my big ones starting in middle school.
Like you're wanting somebody come in for 3 or 4 weeks or a month or something and work on a project with them.
I know there's options out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all 3 positions.
So,
So please take it because it would fix it would fix the kindergarten in 1st grade. I've got a little one there. Thank goodness Casey has given up a prep time to take an extra reading group. She's taking 1st grade and teaching that. So, and I taught those double classes. So the amount of stress that is there on Lacey and she's doing her best, but then too, like, that's their foundations.
Yep.
They need somebody. So like I said, I know the options are there, but like if you guys can just please think about that. And it affects my kids personally. And like I said, with my older one struggling, you know, and I'm trying to encourage as much as I can. but then a computer program becomes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's important that you think about the kids, and we're here for who.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kids.
we'll,
Kids.
we will address it with the,
Okay,
Sorry.
We appreciate, yeah.
thank you.
Just, it's not just saying teacher anymore, it's.
Mom,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks.
So I'll piggyback on her just because that was part of the reason I was here. There is a lot of stress involved there in that, the double up of the classes in the elementary. Now they are, working their tails off is, tell me. So if you can expedite that, that'd be great. I appreciate the, security deal we got today. I understand fencing is high and all that. I appreciate that you're still following through on those concerns. Earlier. I will say that here we are, we're looking at December coming up, half the school year's been gone by.
Mhm.
There's been 3 or 4 issues that I think maybe have happened all summer.
Yeah, we are in frustrated just as much as you are, to be honest.
And it just seems like we could be further.
Yeah,
And that-
we agree.
I'm not, pointing fingers, anybody's things happening, but, just wish if we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone on some hiring, that might be a fantastic deal. But like I say, thank you for the security stuff. Thank you for the disposal being cleared up, things like that. I'll leave that on the policy.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
And you're gonna have to introduce yourself, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you got, would you like to speak?
On this, and I live in Africa. And, she's our special teacher.
That's what I was.
I'm Lorraine Spencer, and,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
the kids are great, and staff teachers are amazing. And I was telling Brandon today that they've got, I'm a reading specialist, and they've got that reading down. I'm sad to say that the house situation is not working.
Yeah.
And, I talked to Curtis about it, and he won't budge on any of it. And I don't see myself chopping wood and starting a fire every night. The lease said that I'd be in charge of, or like responsible if the pipes burst, and I'm only here like 4 days a week. And I just didn't really feel from Curtis that I was valued, but when I talked to Miranda, she she said that they all appreciate what I'm doing. I'm just really sad because it's not anything that I can change or do, or I want to work with these kids and stuff. I mean, another alternative would be to work with them online. Because my program does have an online component, and they can know me. So I think that they would do well, but
Sorry, I'm so sorry. She took all of our dyslexia kids. All of our kids are dyslexic, so there's 7.
Wow.
We've got a heavy pay. So we have 2 complete intervention groups. So one is phonics, the whole school does it school wide. And so because she is trained in something called Take Flight. And so she got our dyslexic kids because they need intense intervention. And then we have a guided reading also, but she has a dyslexic kids, so it's where the online part comes in.
that's my specialty.
Okay. And so you don't have to answer these questions. I'm not trying to get personal. Are you in one of the teacher gyms?
Yeah, the end one down there that,
Yeah, I'm the one on the end.
Okay.
It was nice and it's spiders.
Yeah.
I have those too.
Tarantula.
Oh, God. We are,
There's no meat. So I'm
No
not
meat.
saying there's no meat.
And then.
That's what you meant by the chopping the fire.
there's a fireplace in it. Place.
Right, you know, like, right.
trying to fix them.
Teacher takes a lot of work too, so I just brought here.
Yeah, he gave me some good space heaters.
Okay.
Is that thing, are those on a permanent foundation?
Yeah,
Yes.
they were built as kid houses in the 40s, but yes,
And we are working on teacher gyms. We
we should have had them already
should
built,
by July.
but
All of the price is gonna up to 600.
oh, you mean as far as the rent on the new? Well, that's up to us now.
We decide what.
And-
For this.
See, and that's the deal. We kicked him out of that house, but we didn't have any say in putting her in that house. See,
I mean, like,
so,
it's a very big house.
yes.
Yeah.
And even with all the doors closed to the things that you don't use, it's still a big house.
Yes, and there's no stove or oven in there. And I asked him if he didn't pull out the rent, and he said no.
Okay.
And,
Okay, well,
Okay.
alrighty.
Like I said, I'm learning a little deal.
Yes. Well, we don't want to lose you.
Yes.
And so we will work very
Yeah.
diligently in the next 2 to 3 weeks to remedy these
Yes.
problems.
We're
If-
working on it. I promise.
I gotta go buy another $200 stove and put in there and figure out a pellet stove or something for her to.
well, he did say that they were gonna demo them and.
Well, that one isn't gonna be getting demoed first. It's not the first one.
It's not the first one.
It's gonna stay, but
Yeah.
we need to put,
Yeah, we need to do something.
Can you do us a favor? The board dictates what happens with the teacher gyms. So would you please do us a favor and get it to Mrs. Encinias? Make a list of the issues that you have based on the conversations and get it to Mrs. Encinias, and then she can bring it. She can actually probably email that to the board so we can have it in advance.
and we'll have a
Yes.
special meeting if we gotta,
Yeah, and if we need to do a special meeting, we will.
to get somebody in there to start
Yeah.
getting it at least livable. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it,
Yeah, write all these things down. Everything that you've just told us, will you please write it all down?
Sure, I didn't even go through the lease and say what I'm, cause I
Yeah.
did say I'm not.
well, give us a copy of the lease too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know what?
We
lease-
have it? Okay.
Is that the same one that everybody's on?
Yeah.
Is that the same lease everybody's on? So, we'll see.
All right. Thank you for your- Be careful.
All staff. And very welcoming.
Cool.
And I really like interns.
Yeah, you gotta be able to live. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like she's
It's, uh,
homeless. She's unhoused. That's wrong.
Yeah, because I don't even know if anybody had been through there since, when Adam and them moved out. Who know, as anybody, we never did a walk. I don't know if anybody did a walkthrough.
Yeah, and you did a walkthrough.
Did they?
Damien went and cleaned it up, but then even from there, nobody had been in there for such a long time.
Right,
and then
since it was,
in there before she moved in, after we did a walkthrough and cleaned it up.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. But yes, if you could, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Please stay. But yeah, I know. Okay,
You're welcome.
you're welcome. Thank you. And it's nice to finally met you.
All right.
These two ladies speak highly of you. It's nice to put a face with The name. Thank you. Thank you.
Action items, discussion possible action on district capital priority on remaining funds for SB9 bond monies. I guess that's where you come in, huh, Brenda?
Check my notes. So, with
What's-
this, we would like for you guys to identify your top priorities. Curtis has stated that we are already over budget on the bond. The cafeteria must be a priority. There is replacing equipment. And there's a quote for $65,000 to replace the equipment. This includes installation. And as you know, we have to have gas and electric installed separately. With that, they'll also have to look at the fire suppression to ensure it's by code, because we are replacing it.
So this was supposed to be done a long time ago, but plumbing took away from it.
Yeah.
On the kitchen, also, there was questions about the electric. So it's not fully the plumbing, it's also.
Well, no, I meant,
Time from other.
well, I meant the plumbing down here took away from
Well,
that, and plus the plumbing.
No. So
Oh,
yes,
oh,
this
oh.
plumbing took away from that, but getting a response for somebody to come in and upgrade
The
the
electric,
in a historic building. It's
um,
been a nightmare and
Yeah.
nobody wants to respond. Nobody wants to put their quotes in. Nobody wants to come touch it. Just so that you're aware of that.
yeah,
But now we have things breaking down. The quote is to replace those with similar, so that the electric is not to be,
be replaced.
because the original idea was to upgrade equipment to make it more functional to do things. When they looked at the electrical panel, nobody wanted to touch it.
Have we looked into taking that building off the historical registry?
Can you do that?
Yes, I think we can. I think we need to look into it because then we can do whatever we want in there. We can replace those windows. We can do all the things that when I was here and we did the renovations, we couldn't. Because Mark was on the board, Shad was on the board, Brad Gage was on the board, and our hands were tied. Bill Higney was on the board. Our hands were tied. But
Because they had already put it on the night.
yeah, they'd already registered it, and I don't know how that came about, and I don't even know who to ask. But maybe we can figure it out. Maybe call the county, call the who would it be? Halbaka. He was he wasn't the treasurer, he was the assessor. Call the assessor. I think if we check with the assessor and figure that out. And just, I mean, we need to explain to them that we can't do things that we need to do. And nobody wants to come work on it because it's a historical building. And those windows are the pits. We all know that. So, I mean, I think we need to figure out if we can get around that. Because I don't see us building a cafeteria. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should.
I think
And
the-
Kurt
Well-
did it too.
A lot of the
news stores have one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, in the long term, but that's,
Yeah, but that's.
I don't
A
know.
lot of the, yeah, they're like a multi-purpose.
Yeah, yeah, or whatever.
But that's 3 to 5 years down the
Oh,
road,
that's a ways down the road.
and there's no way, we gotta do something now. But you said the SB9, I mean, the SB9 bond monies were over.
Yes, we're already over budget on the bond, and that's due to the cafeteria needing to be the priority because it costs that much to replace the equipment.
I noticed he put in his notes. New school.
Yeah, I should say, I make them for, yeah, sewer lines.
Yeah. Top 5 priorities. He listed his new school upgrade, underground and above ground utility repairs, cafeteria equipment, maintaining the function of all existing building systems, HVAC, maintaining and repair of playground equipment. Teacher housing is 375,
379.
scoreboard, doors, fencing.
Months, we're not here yet.
Won't be till November.
Yeah. Elementary plumbing and sewer, all that stuff that took away from last. That's fencing and
So was there not special funding for the teachers? Was that not through?
Yeah, that's a no, that's a completely separate from SB9 and bond.
Other than maintenance.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be, Vicky. It should be completely separate. It was part of that PSFA fee that.
PSFA fiasco that we've got in.
Yeah.
there.
But I know, it's got bond next to it, but I think that's wrong. I think it's just, yeah, it's special funding through PSFA.
Okay.
So we need to check in.
The initial conversation was bond money, and then when we purchased the Johnson, that was bond money. And so then,
Yes, that was bond money. Yes.
but I think the
Yes.
original conversation was that it was bond, we were gonna use bond money to do teachers, and then we flopped and bought that one and moved it to special PSFA funding or whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it can't be. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the new modular stuff.
The new
Yeah.
that are being used, that,
Right.
because we use that.
So can you guys check on that and see where we are with that? Because we just keep getting the same song and dance every time we come, and we have for over a year. Yeah, check with PSFA.
Yeah, so what he told us was that there's like limited personnel, they're hiring new people, there's new requirements for contracts. And it kind of seemed like and correct me if I'm wrong on this verbiage, but it almost sounded like a kind of like a bid for a contract for somebody to take it on. And it's getting
Yeah,
somebody.
can you check on that, Vicky?
Yeah,
So
so
you
I
probably know
do know-
somebody at PSFA or
Other districts.
PSCOC.
Old as well, and it's just moving very, very slow. So I know other districts are having the same issues with their teachers. It's not that they can't get the teachers, it's the
Funding.
mechanism from PSCOC that has been slowed for some reason, but I'll see what I can find out as well. And then I wanted to ask, have you ever applied for, as you're talking about these, as you're talking about all these SB9 needs, now is the time to identify if we're going to go after any of that money that our legislators get, their slush money.
Their slush money, yeah.
But do you ever, because we have to apply this month, I believe it's by the end of this month, if we want to request that our legislators consider any special appropriations to us.
So in April of this year, Mr. Patterson actually brought this up, and Curtis was supposed to be looking into it.
Okay.
And I thought we were told we ran out of time.
Yeah. So it's October of every year is when you have to apply for it. And you have to do it through the ISIP process, so which is DFA's, which is the state's finance department.
Yeah, the Department of Finance
You have to
Authority.
go through their system, which is called ISIP, to request this.
And we have done it in the past. Travis and I used to do it.
Yeah,
and
and
we've
we've
gotten
gotten
it
it
from-
from a letter to your legislator.
Yeah.
Now it's an actual, you gotta go into this portal and you have to apply. I'm attending a training next week, I believe it is. Yeah.
I think we should ask for it. I think we should do it.
Okay.
Ask her. Because Greg Nivert, we asked Greg Nivert for things and we got them. And we asked.
Our ag program still has so much money is because of that stuff that they funnel through the,
I was thinking
through
specifically,
to the.
that's a
Yes.
expense for a rural district.
Yeah.
And that's usually what they approve are things like that, like these really large expenses that your local monies wouldn't normally
Cover,
So
yeah.
I was thinking like maybe your kitchen equipment.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if we buy that new kitchen equipment and then we build a new school, I wonder if we couldn't take that equipment.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know if it'd be I don't know, if it'd be too old to. So it wouldn't be like we're, throwing money at it and then it's just a done deal. We lose that because we have to buy new for the new school, so, but.
No,
It's
okay,
the furniture project we did, all that furniture. will-
Right, it'll go, yeah, I thought about that.
Check into that. That would be great.
Yes.
Check on the teacherage thing. Check on that for us.
And also pull up the NMAC on how you take a historically registered property off, what the process is for that. And
Okay.
criteria, it no longer meets what you have to identify as the criteria. So I pulled up the NMAC on that because there is.
So if you'll go with Brenda on that too,
Yep, I can do that.
work with you guys and Amanda
They
to,
have to go to the cultural center
yeah.
in New Mexico too with a petition.
So maybe you guys can work on that and get, I was frustrated beyond belief. We were paying for all that stuff because I was like,
Twice as high.
it was twice as high and then we couldn't do things and we knew our heating bill was going to be astronomical because of our windows. You couldn't insulate it. We've had all those leaks in the roof because the roof has to be a certain way. I mean, it's just been
How long
it's
been his, you know?
oh my God, it's been since like 2003.
So
When did I come to work here? I think so. I don't know, to be honest. We might have to check with Travis. He would remember. That's something that Travis might remember. I don't. I will. I'll ask Travis.
Long
Yeah.
before I started it.
Yeah, because it was,
I've been here 15 years and that was here, it was that way when I started, so.
yeah, it was.
Remember, we were gone back in the internet.
Yeah, I remember the renovations on that building and just trying to do
That's what,
the,
has that been 20 years?
it's been a long time.
I
It's
mean,
been-
since, but
I started in 03, 2003.
So when you, it was kind of like around the time that Tony got hired. It was like the year after.
2004, yeah.
So-
Because he started in
So,
2003. That year was his first year. And then I was working here starting in July, but I was still working my old job. And then I came here full time in January of 2004.
So not to
That's
interrupt
okay.
you, but,
Yeah.
but do we need to?
yeah,
You want to do stuff?
well, if we don't have any, if the funds are
Your
overdrawn.
priorities.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sounds like that gives us a little
So-
communication and guidance.
right.
yeah,
So the,
exactly. Well, if you'll check on the,
And if you want to direct us also to apply for those special appropriations, we can do that.
yes, let's do that. Yes.
Money, that
Yeah.
the priority for the special appropriations is this, this and this, or just this. And then you can rank the others using the rest. How much does that pull out of? If it's a.
I see.
Well, you know what? I think
What would be the next?
just looking at the list, you guys, the ovens, I mean, I think the kitchen
Is the
needs some
main,
work. Our fencing, the exterior cameras, I think that's
second,
priority.
yeah, because what, how much extra?
Yeah. Is there specials? Okay.
Well, I don't know how they're dispersing it, but there was supposed to be special
Safety money?
safety money from PSFA this year. So
Yeah.
I'll check on that.
Yeah.
That's action, isn't it?
Yes, this is an action item.
I'll let y'all finish that conversation and then I have a recommendation.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go.
I make a motion that we prioritize these things once we're sure that we have applied for any other funding that might be available for any of these projects.
Yeah.
So that, okay.
I second that. Does that make sense to you, ladies?
Vicky, did you hear the
Did you
motion?
Hear the motion? Can you-
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, let's rank them though. I think
Yeah, I think if you rank them and then we can figure out where we need to put them based
Yeah,
off of
you
what
guys-
kind of money we can get. At least that way, if you guys rank them and we look to find where we can get money from, then we can go ahead and do it. Rather than finding the money and then coming back and then you guys ranking them and then us having to go back. At least if they're ranked, we can.
Yeah, even
figure out
then
if
it's gonna be
it's
60,000, which
Yeah.
requires a board action.
Right, new school, if all of that goes through, 80% of that is covered and 20% is us, right? That was the
I
calculation.
think so, yes.
We have, like, we have the cafeteria needs to be first.
So
I think so.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
we would have a choice.
Right, exactly.
Work. No. Some of it's done.
Yeah, see, I thought a
Well,
majority of that's done.
Or
The elementary
floor.
done, or do we have more? plumbing issue?
Well, everything's
No.
okay for now, like, the sinks in the elementary, those back up, and so Damien has to go in there and clean them out. Weekly, otherwise the water just sits in there.
Right.
So far I haven't seen anything on this
Here?
side in the high school.
We don't leaks in that.
See, the problem with the elementary is a lot of those water lines and sewer lines are in these walls. How do we mitigate that? You don't, you tear you gotta tear the building down.
How much paint and things like that has been.
Yeah, and,
Just caking, like.
and yeah,
Closing that, yeah.
And everything else that the kids might
that is,
glitter. Paper towels.
Okay, so I have another question, and I know there's a motion on the floor. But, okay, so how much, I know the new school wasn't put in the budget, I get that. But some of this other stuff, was it budgeted? Already? Or is this stuff that's popped up since the budget was approved?
this is stuff that to me popped up since our budget was approved. I could be wrong. What do you think, Vicky? I
I
think,
think scoreboards was in
I
there.
think, I did not know, well.
I didn't realize the scoreboard till last week or 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
I had
So
this, we were pretty much committed on the door.
Yeah, I thought we were committed on the door too.
Okay, so can I just, I'm so sorry. Okay, when we take something like this to a board, okay? If you're gonna ask a board, this is just me, to rank, they gotta know dollar amount, they gotta know urgency. They gotta know, was it budgeted, was it not budgeted? We just have kind of a little piece of the pie here. And I know we've talked about some of this a little bit. But now we're asked to rank them and we're sitting around trying to figure out all the different moving parts and pieces. That should all be presented as my opinion.
So I also have another question.
Yep.
Kind of along that line, and I apologize, but I'm a little unclear. Is this 946 in projected or committed projects on bond money? Is this bond money that this 546 committed, 400 in projects? Like, I'm trying to understand, is that the new money that we're going out for, or is that
The current bond, yeah.
That's current.
It's current bond, yes.
So that's not, are we going out for bond? I thought we
Yes,
were.
yes,
So
that's my understanding.
Yes,
Yes, that's what we,
If it passes.
if it passes.
yes.
Right, and I think if marketed and people understand what it is, I don't think that should be a problem. So the news that's in November and we're having this conversation.
Yeah, we're in October, I know. It's,
Okay, so, okay, this isn't the news.
no, this is just,
Okay.
and he does have things marked as projects already in process, committed or completed. So that's a little bit less misleading because which ones are completed, which ones are in process, and which ones are completed.
Building, it should be on an Excel sheet and there should be. I'm sorry,
Yes.
this is so poorly presented and I don't mean to be rude or,
Yeah, he's
But
saying
it's-
that this is what we spent. This is what we committed to, and this is what.
So.
and I'm not telling you
No,
that,
no,
Vicky,
and
I'm
trying
just.
to decipher.
It as well, yeah.
Financials, but based on what I'm seeing here and what I see in our financials. So Go Bond, the only thing we've paid for out of there has been the Petrie, the Johnson house that was purchased.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Okay, that's what I see. So that means we have about $730,000 or so left in that fund. In the SB9, we had, which is usually your maintenance and upkeep.
Yeah, upkeep, yeah.
That was originally 213,000. We've only spent 35,000. So we have the 700 up in Go Bond building, plus we have another about 180,000. We have 30,000 in SB9.
SB9 match, yeah.
And then that's it. So So yeah, we have about $900,000. And then there's a
Mhm.
special capital outlay of 50,000, and I don't know if that one is earmarked special and requires anything specifically. But I do think.
fund is
that
the special capital
I
outlay?
think that is gonna be paid for by.
31, there it is.
PSA.
Okay, I missed.
So I don't think you have to put that in your consideration. I just think.
Yeah,
that's
I think,
the
yeah.
Process right now.
Okay,
I think it's the other items that are more,
pressing.
in terms of not knowing where the funding might come from.
So could you do, and I know you're busy, but could you do us a favor and email it to us? I guess, and then I will go back to my, yeah, could we have kind of a, here's where we are. Here's what we need to be, figuring out how we're gonna fit all this stuff in. And based on these items, and their estimated cost, where does that put us so that we can make those decisions? That will also help in, I know it sounds like we have a ticking clock on if we want to use any legislative funds. So if we can maybe apply for anything, I guess I'm gonna amend my motion. If the chair's okay with that. I'd like to amend my motion to get a better report that shows, whether it's an Excel sheet or what have you, that shows us the different categories and the monies that we have available to make those decisions. And in the meantime, if there are any opportunities for us to apply for any support on any of these items, that we do so.
I second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded on getting a list of priorities together, plus monies gathered. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Approval for out-of-state travel for the site visit to the high school team with administrative rep, team of 3 or 4 to Roscoe for the tour that we just got a presentation on in October, November, or December. They haven't. October's good. Oh, is it? Got it planned?
It's gonna be later November, or earlier December, because Rachel McLean, who is president of EduNation, took a different position. And she's on her way out and they're working on getting a new director or president. So that put things on hold a little bit, or else we were planning to go like a couple of weeks. But that kind of put things on hold. And so we're looking later November, earlier December. And they'd be gone, they'd leave like Wednesday afternoon. We'd figure out some way to kind of keep the kids so they could leave at like 2-ish, travel. Be gone Thursday so they can go through the classrooms, and then Friday is like a sit down PD within their building where what we did was talk about like what's going well, what's not going well, what do we want for our kids, what do we envision for our kids. I think this one would be, because we've already implemented some of this, it would be a little more on like, how does this look in your classroom? Let us help you design this for your classroom, which is some of what we did at the beginning of this year. But I think our teachers, need some more clarification on some of that, and they want to see what that looks like in action before we can put it into the classrooms. And so that's
Okay. They've seen kind of how it started.
Right.
And now they've got some.
For you. So are this travel coming out of operational? Do we have enough in operational? There's a PD. There's a PD line item, but is there enough? Or do we have enough in direct instruction 1000 function to move money around if we don't have enough in that PD professional development line
I
item?
moved some money last month. We did a bar.
I remember that, yeah.
You have to put it in 22 function, 2300 now.
Oh, okay.
They don't let us put it in 1000 anymore.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what's the estimate?
Do you know what the
There
other?
should be-
Yeah.
3,900 was what we paid
Yeah, I saw that.
last year, and then, so he said less than 5,000.
Less than 5,000.
It's really just the motel rooms and.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and
We have-
well, and the fuel, yeah.
Operation.
Okay. So this
I'm assuming since y'all are coming to us to get this approved, I think it's a great program. I'm all for it, but was this budgeted? Or that's what we're trying to figure out. This wasn't budgeted. Or this is.
It was an initial discussion where it was
Yeah.
up in the budget. The budget is not I was not included. It's not my thing.
No, I don't think it's.
So
A lot of money in places
That are kind of weird.
done it,
Yeah,
but it's just, and that's why I'll have probably.
Another bars,
Maintenance bars every month.
and that's okay. I mean, that's just,
Yeah, we don't.
but it's the bottom line for operational doesn't go in the hole.
So if you go and you look.
No,
if
we,
you- On
Right.
Functions of Fund 11,000, function 4,000 is about facilities.
Right.
They just stuck the remaining 230,000.
Dollars in there. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
So-
nuts.
so what,
yes, there's money, but
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily.
Right.
Where it's gonna be.
Okay.
and the
Well, I
the
just
one
want-
grant that Kelly talked about, that's $23,000 for professional development.
Right,
Coming
right.
into
Coming
the-
into school. Yeah.
And so
And-
we could pull from that if it need be, and then.
Yeah.
The
No, I
thought is
think
to
if
pay.
we have the money in operational, we should use it in there. But the problem is, if we don't want Vicky to end up
Right.
with her quarterly report with things all hosed up. So forewarned is forearmed, so maybe you can look at that, Vicky, and move some budget around. Because I know the budget's there, but
okay, I need a motion.
I moved to approve.
Okay, so before we.
Okay.
No, that's all right.
So here's my deal, because some of the high school teachers wanted to go. And we were told that we're starting in the elementary. And there was still some and some of them still wanted more information. And so I guess I'm for it, and I'll second the motion, and I guess I just want to comment that the planning, and I know it's a new rollout, and this isn't towards you two. I'm just, for the record, I want it on the record. I think we all felt that we needed to have some high school just for the sake of the school at large and rolling this deal out. And I felt like this was going to be a little bit of a problem. And then here we are. And I think we need to send them, and I think it's great. But there again, a repeat of what we're seeing in tonight's session and other sessions is, and this isn't geared towards you two, is planning and communication and execution, follow up, and it's a vicious, it's that cycle. And I think that's where we're missing a lot of stuff on some of this, and I think it's great. And I'm all for rolling it out. But if we're gonna be doing this, we've got to get better at doing those parts and pieces. Not only execution, training, execution, communication, feedback, follow-up. And I think you'll do a great job with that.
Yeah,
I'm talking to you. That's where I'm gonna stop.
Okay, but for the record, we did have high school teachers on the first one. She did not go because of a dental appointment that could not be changed. So when we planned initially, it was a piece from the elementary and a piece from the high school.
Okay.
So keep
Well, that's
that
good to
on the
know, yeah.
record in your brain
That's
also.
not what we were told.
Told, yeah. We weren't told.
That's what was presented at the board meeting. Yes, the list of names. There was a high school teacher on there.
No, ma'am.
Yes,
We'll pull up minutes.
okay. Monica.
No, it was told that we were leaving the high school out because we wanted to start in elementary. And so that was repeated. That was repeated. And so I just, based on what was shared many times, I'm just saying, this is fine and I support it. But I just, we need to make sure when we're sharing stuff that we plan and we are sharing based on what is actually happening then we were misinformed based on what you just shared.
That was shared after we went and it was asked why there was not. high
And I don't want to get in an argument, but I'm just stating these are some of the issues because we're told one thing and
Not
it's.
from you guys,
But not.
from you guys.
Yeah,
I understand where
Yeah.
what she's talking about, so that's.
just want us to, and I'm fine with it, but we were led to believe all along that we didn't want to go that route. We wanted to do everything in the elementary and then eventually bring in the high school. And that's where some of this confusion comes in, is based on some of the things that are shared and then the picture changes.
Well, and
And that's
Avid,
trust.
Avid was 100% just the elementary.
Right.
And then I do remember that.
High
Yes.
school
And that's,
next year, and that was in the budget as well.
Yeah,
okay, I have a motion.
Yes.
Do I get a second?
a second.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Who made the motion? Barbara made the motion to get,
All second.
Kyle seconded it. To approve the out-of-state travel to Roscoe. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right, discussion item, strategy planning process for October 22nd. We got the right, we got the right Wednesday on the right. I was, when he texted me, I was going, I wonder if he called about noon today, and they're going, what? We're supposed to come to Corona? I didn't know that it was a Thursday, and it was supposed to be on, but okay. So
Done strategic planning with the co-op. And when you're fixing to have a function like that, you don't wait till the day of to talk to those people. You're talking to them on a weekly basis. And everybody knows exactly where the other person's supposed to be. I understand that it was on their side, but we should have been communicating with them weeks prior to them ever being here to make sure everybody was set and ready to go.
you're gonna have to facilitate this, aren't you? Because he's not gonna be back, right? Is that what
That's my anniversary.
To fly on a business trip, and nobody even asked to see if the state was available.
Yeah, that's my anniversary and we have something. 37 long years.
You guys are getting old.
Thanks.
So do we have anything from just the reschedule? Do we need to reschedule it?
Well,
I mean,
I think we should, because I
Okay.
would really like.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there something we have to have done with this before it goes?
No,
No? Okay.
No,
no, remember, this is just a direction we want to go
Yeah. but it's
and getting input.
Okay.
from PED. They're.
No, this is
It seemed like it was a directive from PED which is, and that's fine, but
you know,
they drive me crazy. I
when
think it's a
Kyle,
great idea. I love the idea. I want to be here.
when Kyle and I was in that training that day, Albuquerque Public Schools had only implemented theirs for the first time the year before. For all these years.
The way it ties into PED is that we are now required to have a portrait of a graduate. What does that look like?
What does that look like? Okay.
And that comes with this.
And that comes with this strategic
Yeah,
plan.
we
Uh,
can't make a group portrait of a graduate until we have.
Have this. Okay.
But- So there is a component that is required by PED.
But what's our time frame?
They are very unclear of the.
That's what I thought. That makes perfect.
Education.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me then.
What is October 20?
Yeah, yeah, but is there a time frame?
Well-
That's what I'm asking. When do we have to have this done?
This year was my
Okay,
understanding.
that's what
So we really need to,
Yes, we really need to get a calendar, you guys.
Well, and that's.
I think that's a
Right.
good idea.
So
I
we
love this
have,
idea.
we have started our portrait of a graduate.
Yeah.
In coordination with our CE, what we're doing with CEN, because they've done this for so.
what is next?
So we
the
have
next
kind of
week?
a template.
And I mean, I don't know what all of it has.
Well, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to talk to them.
And then see if it works for them.
That would be the 29th.
Okay, so wait, what day are we looking at?
Are you thinking?
Well, I was just saying the next week.
The 27th, 28th, 20. Well, we also have to check with the people.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm just saying we need to give,
Gonna give like 3 dates.
okay. Are we having a Halloween carnival?
yes, the 31st.
The 30th.
30th.
I won't be
Oh,
here.
it's the 30th.
There's-
Yeah, and Amanda will be there.
When are you leaving? Oh, so you're gone that whole week?
Okay,
Okay.
so we really need to.
Yeah,
prepare
just
this.
think of
Wait,
that.
then.
Next.
Yeah, because we missed it the year I went.
No, the 4th is election day.
Yeah, I'll have to go to school Monday, but then I get a day to sleep, so. That's what I told.
So does the 5th work for you guys or the 12th?
Well, it doesn't have to be a Wednesday, does it?
Oh,
Or do they want it a Wednesday?
Yeah, I was just gonna
I
say.
Was there a-
think it was easier like for families to come in like on a Wednesday rather than like
Then you're missing.
having Thursdays. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
right. 'Cause we have other things
Thursdays are
going
football
on
games.
Thursdays and, okay. I don't have anything on the 5th, the 12th or the 19th.
Yeah.
Of November.
November.
They're all open for me.
I'm also, right now, I'm open and I can leave them.
Yeah, me
The
too.
same dates.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the 12th is the.
Oh,
board
that's right. Sorry.
meeting. So the
Let's do
5th and
the 5th
19th.
and 19th.
I'm so.
But you know, that might work out for the 12th if we don't have much going on. We are all showing up, so we have to post it. You know, we'd have a
We
quorum.
just have we just had the board meeting at the.
Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, that's an idea, you guys. I'm just throwing that out there. If the 12th works for them and they can't do the others, let's think about it.
Could have a short board meeting
Have a short meeting at
afterwards.
5 or something, or a special. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm open for that.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep those dates open.
yeah. Me too.
Okay. Possible dinner, I don't know, dinner for students, parents update.
So whenever we met this morning to talk about this, Amanda had a good idea, for you guys, whenever you do want to provide a dinner, you know.
Oh, yeah.
for our community and stuff like that. So, the elementary has decided to do a Christmas bazaar this year. And so K-2 is gonna do song and dance. 3, 4, 5 is gonna do the presentations of their project-based learning.
Nice.
And then we'd like to have a dinner to where parents can eat and mosey around to purchase these students' products. Like the Christmas cactuses, the chilies.
That's good.
Luminaria.
Luminary.
I always forget that word.
That's a great idea.
The little sack with sand in it. No, well, it depends on where you're eating. It could be farolitos.
Korean coming in to talk the different.
Oh, do it that night.
That night, because then.
So the bazaar is December 11th.
Okay.
And the only thing, we don't really want like a dinner that's going to take.
Yeah.
We kind of want
Yes.
something like maybe like burritos or something that they can walk around and eat and purchase because
Oh, yeah.
then
okay.
they're also going to do the high school parade. So you guys can walk outside to the street and watch the parade.
The light parade.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
That's lovely. That sounds wonderful.
so we need,
So you get the dance information.
Sometimes they can carry it.
And after again, like normal?
No, so I think we're just going to do so.
they're gonna go around this block?
Would we
They
need to do
do
this?
stand with
So
their-
it's gonna start. That way it gives everybody plenty of time to get up to work and
And that was December 11th, right? Okay, yeah. Put that in my calendar. We gotta figure it out, guys.
Yeah.
That's on, because that's on us.
Yeah. that's-
Oh, no. How can you cook?
So ask you this, if we start texting each other and doing stuff, is that a rolling board?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You're gonna have to do it at the meeting.
So you better talk one day. Not the next day. Talk the next day.
Don't thought I'd throw that out there.
But as long as we all get burner phones, we won't have to worry about it. We can just trace the phone. No text messages, no emails.
Yeah, something that's.
We're gonna
useful.
be the mob.
WhatsApp, there you go, we can do WhatsApp, just like Hexit did.
So that's on the 11th.
Defense.
I know this is discussion, so
Yes.
since that's gonna be here before we know it, what do you guys think about, at least having, who do you want to be in charge to kind of get it, like,
Because you guys know it's just gonna be the four of us, because Robbie's done.
Yeah.
He wanted to know when, he wanted to turn his resignation this time, and I just ignored him, so. Just because, so it'll be probably the next board meeting he'll resign, so.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we still, the next board meeting up till that point, we still have some time, so be thinking. And then with, for the next board meeting, come to it with, recommendations on, kind of what y'all are thinking, and then we'll make some decisions there. How's that?
That'll work.
That'll be good.
Because, I mean, that burrito is not a bad idea. We could get them to make a couple different, find somebody to, or make a couple different kinds.
Yeah.
Maybe some salsa and chips and,
Your wrapping fingers broke or what?
yeah. Oh, I can make them. You may not like what I make. Okay, yeah, we could do like the concession stands. You got 14 different kinds of burritos. I don't know what this one is, but it ought to be good.
Exactly.
You know what? When we were in school, you know what it was? Sandwiches.
Sandwiches, yeah.
Every dance we had up there, it was sandwiches. And when the night was over, you ran over there and you got Marie Owens, pimento cheese and green chili sandwiches that were left, and you ran. Them were the best.
That sounds like Tommy Mulkey when I make those green chili enchiladas, he'd bring Tupperware. He was like, there's any of that left? I brought my Tupperware. It's like, okay, Tommy, it's cool.
All right. All right. PSFA new school application update. Any?
Yeah. Anything on that?
No, I know that that's kind of the same thing, like he's reached out and
They just hadn't got back to it.
Our application has been submitted.
Right.
So we have 72 other schools.
yeah.
Yeah, we're 70s. Yeah,
But can you check on that for us, you guys? I mean,
so.
Yeah, and he put updates in the superintendent's
So-
report.
Right,
for
he
that
did.
application.
He said there's, yeah, it's not, you
yeah.
has yet for anybody to read it. Based on this proposal.
All right. Anything else? Under discussion?
Well, I do think that we need to at least bring up some things that were brought to our attention, and I'm not sure if it was brought to staff's.
And maybe that's where it should have started.
That's why I'm asking. I don't know what you're thinking of.
Okay.
This one's not, it's just a question.
Okay.
And I kind of, when I saw the email that came out, I thought, yeah, I had that same issue. I had to read it like 3 times, but there was a document that was on our letterhead when school, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm for gauge of time. And the parents had to check an option to opt out on military contact.
Yeah.
And the person that sent the board communications, did you guys hear
Did
about
you guys
it?
get any of that?
I know what letter you're referring to, but I did not write the letter.
So I guess what they were just wanting us to convey is that, and it was confusing. I had to read it a few times to make sure.
And that was the whole deal, was the confusion on the.
It's worded. Yes.
Letter was worded and very strange.
And it was over your dial contact. I'm sure it's a standard letter that you sent. Is that about when it came out?
So
A month ago. then.
I got
it's
it.
a federal requirement that we share student information with recruiters.
Yes, that was it.
But it should read that.
It was really awkward in
Want me to read it?
And it was on letterhead.
Every year, parents have the right to opt out of the release of their students' personal information for the use by the military for recruiting and contact purposes. If you would like to opt out, please check no and sign. The deadline to opt out is 9/22.
So
Please
if
opt
I,
out, please either return this form in person or email it to the candidate.
so my question is, if I didn't do any of this, then my kid's gonna get recruited?
They will get contacted. We do have to share that information.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're gonna, so I think that was the issue. Was
The way it was
the
worded.
way it was worded. So if I didn't do anything.
If you
My
don't
kid-
opt out, yeah.
Yeah.
Our information's going
Well,
out.
that seems to be pretty consistent across because we also had a form from the school-based health. And that was worded the same way. You have to opt out. So if you did not
It's kind
sign
of
the
like
form,
vaccines, you gotta
then your
sign that deal
child
to say you're not.
participated in it.
You have to opt out of being, yeah.
So what can, is there something we can be?
At the bottom, does that change the legality of it to explain?
I don't know about on forms like that when they kind of
So I
give
guess
you
it
like a
was
scripted
confusing.
response.
Look, the option was confusing to
It's
me because I remember
confusing
reading that
and
3
misleading,
times.
I think.
And I can't remember what my issue was. I didn't go back and look at it again because I sent it back. and forth, but I know I read it like.
Did you tell them, please take her? Navy would be the best way for it.
And misleading. So.
And it was important enough to the family. They were, passionate about the information. And so, you try to respect that. So that's why I brought it up. So maybe just be sensitive to that if there's.
Yeah, I don't know if there's something to change it,
Explain them.
but it may be a form,
It's a standard.
maybe a standard
It's
deal.
something you guys can like modify. to
I know,
make it make
I'll just
sense.
ask the legal side of that.
Yeah,
We can
I would-
buy what we can.
yeah, because it kind of seemed like it was. Like you had to do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anything else?
So I just have a question. What are the requirements for individuals to drive school fleet?
Yeah.
So like if you and Richard were gonna take a chaperone with you on this trip, is it still, you have to take that course, do your
Defensive driving,
fingerprints?
yeah, background check, defensive driving, first aid, CPR, and drug test.
Okay. Has Richard done all of that? Okay, that.
He has to have that just to drive the
To
state
drive the University.
vehicles.
But he actually, they would not share his form.
I was
with
just
us,
gonna
so he
say,
sat through the
he has
class
to do it.
with
Really?
me. He's done an online first aid CPR course and he is on our drug test list. He has a drug test.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I know he's helping, but I just don't want, and he's just helping out of his own heart. I just don't want him or you to get in trouble. So I figured we knew that.
Yeah, because that's a huge liability to the school.
Right, no, we made sure that we did everything.
And I figured you
properly.
would, but I was like,
Because I thought of driving at Eastern and I better ask. that
And,
just to make sure.
The stipulation there, because we were waiting on the first aid CPR certificate, is he did not drive when our children were in the vehicle because they are FFA members and students. He could drive by himself until we get that certificate. Once now that we have that certificate, he can transport children.
okay, good to know. We just want to make sure you don't need to be in trouble.
Yeah. No, he's just trying to help. So, okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Right.
I need a motion.
I make a motion that we go into executive session with limited personnel matters at 9:07:50.
Second,
7:50.
I second.
I have a motion made and seconded to go into executive session about limited personnel matters. All those in favor, Kyle? Alina?
Aye.
Barbara? Me? Aye. It's
7:54.
7:54.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
We'll get